China jailed 9 Chinese Christians for Bible distribution, resulting in prison sentences of up to 4 years. A shocking case of persecution. 9 Chinese Christians have been handed prison sentences and hefty fines in Hahat, Inner Mongolia, China. Their crime? Reselling and distributing Bibles. In most countries, sharing religious texts is considered harmless, even noble. In China, it can put people behind bars. On April 10, 2025, the religious freedom magazine Bitter Winter reported that prison sentences of up to 4 years and fines ranging from 500 yuan, $68, to 1 million yuan, more than $136,000, have been handed down to these Christians. The sentences stem from charges and arrests in 2021, where the Christians bought legally published Bibles in Nanjing but ended up reselling and distributing them at much lower prices as they wanted to share God's word as a means of evangelism. The Christians were found guilty of illegal business operations because even though the actual Bibles were legally published, the group was part of a house church that was unregistered and that refused to join the government-sanctioned and controlled Three Self-Patriotic movement in China. Why the Bible is treated like contraband. The Chinese government says it officially recognizes Christianity, but that is not the whole truth. Churches must register under the state-controlled Three Self-Patriotic movement or face harassment. Bibles are allowed to be sold only through state-sanctioned channels, and even then, censorship is rampant. Independent distribution of Bibles is seen as a threat to CCP authority. By arresting these 9 Christians, Beijing has sent a chilling message. Harsh sentences for a peaceful act. Reports indicate that the convicted Christians received a mix of multi-year prison terms and massive fines. Authorities accused them of illegal business operations, a vague charge often used to criminalize religious activity. Instead of treating Bible sharing as an expression of faith, China treats it like smuggling drugs or selling counterfeit goods. The punishment is deliberately harsh, designed to scare others into silence. One request in between: if you've enjoyed this podcast so far, please like it. You would also do us a huge favor if you subscribe to this YouTube channel. It would help us a lot. A wider pattern of persecution. This case is not isolated. Chinese Christians across the country face constant harassment. Unregistered house churches are raided. Pastors are jailed. Crosses are ripped down from buildings. Congregations are forced to replace portraits of Jesus with images of Xi Jinping. The hypocrisy of religious freedom in China. China's constitution claims to guarantee freedom of religion. But in practice, that promise is worthless. Only faith that submits to the party is tolerated. Any independent expression of belief is crushed. The 9 Christians in Hahat were not criminals. They were ordinary believers practicing their faith. Yet, in the eyes of the state, their devotion made them enemies. Why the world should care? This case should not be ignored. It is a reminder that China's authoritarianism does not stop at censorship or surveillance. It extends into people's spiritual lives. When a government fears even the Bible, it reveals its own fragility. A confident regime would not treat holy books as threats. Only a paranoid dictatorship does. China's long war on Christianity. The persecution of Christians in China is not new. For decades, the CCP has sought to control or crush the faith. From Mao's Cultural Revolution to today's surveillance state, believers have been forced to worship underground. The message Beijing wants to send. By sentencing these Christians, the CCP is sending a warning to others: do not step out of line. The goal is not just to punish 9 individuals but to intimidate millions of believers across China. Ordinary people behind the headlines. It is easy to reduce this case to numbers: 9 Christians, prison terms, fines. But behind each sentence is a life disrupted. Families torn apart. Children left without parents. Communities silenced. The human cost of persecution is immeasurable. These are not abstract figures, they are real people whose only crime was sharing their faith. Why the CCP hates the Bible? The Bible offers a moral authority higher than the state. That is what terrifies the CCP. A citizen loyal to God cannot be fully loyal to the party. In authoritarian systems, there can be no competing source of truth. That is why Beijing fears and persecutes Christians.